got a stranglehold on the SEC regular season championship since I believe since 2008. It's been one or the other that has won it. Florida with a sweep can share the title and also be the #1 seed. So a lot still going on in the SEC this weekend. Florida right now trailing A&M 3-2 in the bottom of the third. This is the first of a 3-game set as LSU tries to improve its seed, as does Auburn in the upcoming SEC tournament.
And the SEC tournament is something special to watch. I think it's like a mini Women's College World Series, or a prequel to our Women's College World Series, because you just have ranked opponents versus ranked opponents almost every single matchup. There's an elimination, there's a championship on the line. It really gets you ready to go for postseason.
Absolutely, and again, every pitch we will have it. This is Justice Perry, pardon me, a graduate infielder from Prior Lake, Minnesota. Graduated last year, came back for one more season. Batting in the 8th spot this evening for Coach Dean. Andy Doyle's been busy over there at third. That is 3 straight groundouts to Doyle.
Yeah, Doyle had a really nice weekend against Arkansas, played some really tough defense behind her pitching staff, and she's just steady over there. We talked about what Coach Serena says of her, and I think that carries over to defense. She's just a steady presence that brings it each and every day.
Number 9 hitter Aspen Godwin. We already saw her make a nice play behind the dish, grabbing a foul pop-up that she laid out for. It's been splitting the catching duties, but the job has become hers as of late, I should say, getting more consistency at the plate. Auburn, a team that has struggled offensively. They have hit on the season 20 home runs. And Godwin at the plate has 4, and that leads her team. Went down and got that 0-2 pitch.
Yeah, unfortunately for Auburn this year, it's just been a struggle to find any kind of consistency at the plate. They've had trouble scoring runs, producing runs. Sit at the bottom, batting average and runs scored in the SEC. And we talked to Coach Dean about it, and it's come down to a couple of situations. They've lost a lot of one-run games. They've had opportunities and haven't come through.
How about that? There's a home run. Home run number 5 for Godwin. And with one swing of the bat, Auburn's tied it up.
There you go right there. Timely hitting out of the 9-hole spot. Aspen Godwin sits on a pitch up in the zone, is able to get it out of the park. And let me tell you, hitting the ball out of the park in Baton Rouge, it's humid, it's a deep park, it's difficult, but she makes this look easy. Opens up that front side, clears her body so she can get all that power in on that pitch up, and she elevates it and ties this ball game up.
And that was on an 0-2 pitch from Sunseri. Godwin with her 5th home run of the year, RBI number 18. That is also second, or actually ties her for first for most RBIs with McKenna Dowell. A little bit more life now in the Auburn dugout. Alyssa Rivera, the leadoff hitter, popped out to short her first time up. So humid stuff in Baton Rouge, to say the least, right? And I know that when you were there with Alabama, not exactly the results that you would have wanted, or most people would have thought you would have. I mean, you surprised me when you told me what happened when you played there.
Yeah, Tiger Park is a tough place to play, let me tell you. It is a tough place to hit home runs. It seems like the run production just drops for any team that comes into the park that day. But we were 0-6 in my career at Tiger Park. We really struggled there, and in every single one of those games, we were ranked higher than LSU. We were the favored team, and there's just something about this atmosphere and playing here. It's difficult to win, so you can't take winning for granted, and that's why it was so impressive to me watching Arkansas be able to win a championship last weekend in this location.
Arkansas taking 2 out of 3 games, and Coach Serena talked about how difficult it was to watch them celebrate. She said she was conflicted because, you know, she's happy for the staff, and Courtney Deifel is delightful. And her staff, they've worked so hard to build that program, but it's still got to stab you a little bit to see somebody celebrating on your ball field. That's in short center field. Andrews, though, the center fielder, had Tidwell step in front of her for the second out.
Yeah, it's always a tough thing to see somebody celebrate in your field, and same thing happened to them in 2019. I believe Alabama won their SEC regular season title in Baton Rouge in 2019 as well. So the last two championships have been decided at Tiger Park. But that's a learning experience. This is a young team that's going to remember those moments and not let it happen again.
Yeah, it's bad. It sounds good. The last, you've had a couple of SEC championships at Tiger Park, but it's not good when it's not the Tigers, when it's not LSU. So you're right. That's got to sting a little bit. She said one of her assistants, Howard Dobson, said that maybe she could send a congratulatory card like in July or August when she kind of can sit back and really, congratulate that Arkansas staff. They really have done a tremendous job with that program. But she also said she hopes that it inspires her players. Coach Shrina said, hey, it's possible. We can do this. We want to celebrate on our field and not have anybody else do it again that isn't wearing purple and gold.
Well, I think it's interesting, too. And Arkansas is a great example of what you can do with what you have. Because, we talk about LSU and Auburn are 12th and 13th in batting average in the SEC, so they're at the bottom. But Arkansas is right at 11th. They have a very low batting average, too. They just figured out what works for them, and that's the home run ball. So they've bought into that identity and producing runs in that manner. So they've been able to be successful because they figured out what they were good at, and they excelled in that category. But from batting average standpoint, they're right there with LSU and Auburn.
3-1 pitch to Tyler King, tries to get the bunt down. Yeah, and that's really surprising. And you probably did some research on that for somebody towards the bottom like that. And to win the regular season championship, where you have people like, Braxton Burnside and Winnie Malkin and all these big boppers. Burnside has just been a revelation this year for them. And then the pitching, you have people like Half, Autumn Storms, when she is on and healthy in the circle. They're a tough team to beat. A little off speed, and Pleasance ends the inning, but Aspen Godwin has tied this up.
Yeah, gets one up in the zone and says, see ya, ball. Ties this game up.
It's Planet Fitness's best deal ever.
Super free! Super free!
Get your first month free. No enrollment, then only $10 a month.
Your first month free, yeah!
Get moving in our clean and spacious clubs with your first month free. No enrollment, cancel anytime. This one-time deal ends May 12th.
You deserve a car that thrills you. A car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. This is the new Nissan.
If what's coming between you and a new grill are the words, some assembly required, come to Ace. Because Ace now offers free assembly, delivery, and fuel. So get a Traeger wood pellet grill, a Weber gas grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. You won't find these premium brands and service at a warehouse store, only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know their grills. Right now, get free assembly, delivery, and fuel on your new grill.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Welcome back, the SEC. These are your big storylines. Arkansas last week in Baton Rouge clinched the share of their first SEC championship by taking 2 out of 3 against LSU. The Gators right on their heels need a sweep for a share of the SEC title and to get the #1 seed in the tournament. They're down 3-2 to A&M in the top of the 4th. And we just talked about them. Braxton Burnside, just a couple behind Bailey Hemphill and Davidson for the most home runs in an SEC season. And Missouri has had a very interesting year, battling Tennessee for a double bye in the SEC tournament. And right now they are trailing Tennessee 3-0. Sorry, Kayla, I just took that entire package there, but a lot of good stuff going on. Missouri, as we mentioned, another team that has come in. Marissa Anderson with that team, the head coach, putting together a nice season.
A really nice season. They are a great offensive team as well.
And out. Oh, that's Antoine, one of the seniors, Taryn Antoine, who was honored before the game. Let's see, was she safe or out, Kayla?
Oh, this was close. On first look, I thought safe. And, oh, man, it's tight. I think she was safe, though. Barely. By a toe.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of this slap, trying to get a little soft slap to the pitcher who's left-handed to make a difficult and challenging throw. I mean, that's about as close as it gets. It's a really tight play.
But a very quick 2 outs as Andrews pops out to the catcher.
Yeah, that's the one way that Aaliyah Andrews can hurt herself, is by putting the ball in the air like that and popping up. And once again, you're just seeing such a mature and composed version of Shelby Lowe later in this game. After the first inning, after giving up the run, she has been on a roll. Easy outs for her defense and doing work in the circle.
Shelby Lowe, the freshman, has retired 7 straight, has 3 strikeouts in the afternoon after Andrews led off with a single, stole a base, and eventually scored on a RBI single by Pleasance back in the first inning. But since then, since Pleasance RBI single, no LSU Tiger has reached base. Briggs popped out to Godwin, the catcher, who made a nice play on a foul ball in the first inning. Stung, grabbed by the shortstop, the throw over, not in time, but Dowell, who has made some really nice plays over there during her career, almost got her.
Dowell is a very talented shortstop, and she's got great range. You're going to see her get to this ball quickly in the 5-6 hole, but Sierra Briggs just has too much speed down the line. I love the throw. She comes up with a cannon from her knees. Makes that play look easy, but once again, you just have speed in the box, and that play is definitely going to go in favor of the hitter.
Boy, somebody with average speed would have been out. That throw by the knee, from the knees, as you mentioned, Justice Perry with a really nice stretch at first. So an infield single for Briggs. First base runner since the first inning. All 3 hits for LSU have been singles. That one did not leave the infield.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised with 2 outs right here if Sierra Briggs potentially tries to swipe a bag. She's 10 for 10 on the season, and Godwin wasn't able to throw out Aaliyah Andrews earlier in this game.
That one hits off of the pitcher Low, and then Briggs a little bit too greedy, trying to take the extra base. Is the 3rd out of the inning.
Sierra Briggs recognizes that it's 2 outs, so she's thinking first to third, but a little deflection here plays right into Auburn hands, and they're able to get the 3rd out of the inning over at third base.
T-Mobile is the leader in 5G. We also believe in putting people first by treating them right, so we're upping the benefits without upping the price. Introducing Magenta Max, now with unlimited premium data that can't slow down based on how much smartphone data you use. Plus, get Netflix on us, and taxes and fees included. You won't find this with the other guys. In fact, you'll pay more and get less. Right now, pay 0 cost to switch. And bring your phone, we'll pay it off. Only at T-Mobile.
You are watching the SEC on ESPN. A beautiful Friday evening in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Tigers won. Everything tied up. Godwin with the home run for Auburn tied it up after Pleasance had the RBI single in the first inning. Pam Ward along with Caleb Rowe joining you on Friday. Just 2 more days after this left in the regular season before the SEC tournament gets underway in Tuscaloosa on Tuesday. We'll have a lot of folks on site for that, including Caleb Rowe. Get back to your old stomping grounds. Be part of the studio presence for ESPN, the SEC network. Sidney Cox, first pitch swinging, and the play made by Tidwell.
Tidwell showing off the leather right here. That's a really nice reaction to this ball off the end of the bat, so you know it's kind of dying and tailing, and she does a great job of getting over there, and she wants a nice dive to complete the catch and get the first out of the inning.
And Cox swinging at the first pitch. Now Dowell comes up, struck out, swinging her first time against Senseri. Tyler Tidwell, that second baseman, sophomore from Gonzales, Louisiana. Born in Baton Rouge. Just made a nice play for the first out of the inning. And McKenna Dowell, very interesting. She has entered the transfer portal, along with Lexi Hanley, who is a pitcher on this squad. Rather unusual to do it during the season. Both of them have their degrees. The scholarships going back to 12 next year after the anomaly with COVID. We're going to see a lot of interesting movement coming up in this offseason.
Yeah, the transfer portal creates a very interesting dynamic in the sport of softball and in all college sports, really. But it makes for the opportunity for these student athletes to be able to quickly and easily transfer to a new school, get a new fresh start. But it mixes up rosters pretty aggressively, and you're going to see a swing of talent move from one team to the next. And it's really going to mix things up as we continue to see it grow and change and develop over time as it's become a staple of our sport.
Softball is not like basketball used to be. Had to wait out a year. That sent the opposite way, and a grab for Briggs for the second out. Coming up tomorrow afternoon, more softball heading your way at noon Eastern. That's 11 a.m. Central and local. Number 25 Ole Miss takes on number 3 Alabama. And then it's Georgia, Mississippi State. Both games right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Final weekend of the regular season, but the SEC Network still all over all of the action for you.
Speaking of Mississippi State, they have been on a roll as of late. They took 2 in a doubleheader on Wednesday against Tennessee. It's 2 huge wins for them against a top 25 opponent. And they're currently up on Georgia 2-0.
There's Lindsey Garcia, the DP. Flew out to left her first time up. And Mississippi State was a team that took a long time to win their first SEC game. They were 0-13, and then they beat Texas A&M April 24th, and been on a little bit of a roll that is on its way to the wall. And Garcia gets into second with the 2-out double.
Seen Auburn do a nice job attacking the up pitch from Shelby Senseri. There's a couple times that she's left the ball up in the zone, hanging a little bit, and this is an example of the second one that she's really thrown like that. The first one was the pitch to Godwin that was hit out of the park, and Garcia does a good job of just getting on plane of this one and turning it into a quick double with 2 outs.
That's only the second hit for Auburn. The home run by Godwin that you mentioned in the third inning, and now the double with 2 away for Garcia. Packer tries to get the bunt down, but it's fielded very nicely by Clark, who throws it over to get the final out. Stranding Garcia. Basketball, kind of a big deal in LSU. Big news last week. More on that when we come back.
Trying to nourish your skin? Leave it to Tula. Their clean and effective skincare is formulated with probiotics and superfoods, like watermelon and chia seeds. So feed your skin the good stuff. Try Tula today at Tula.com.
On star, we see them.
Okay, mother and child in vehicle. Mother is unable to exit the vehicle. Injuries are unknown.
Thank you, On star.
My son, is he okay?
Your son's fine.
Thank you. There's something in the road.
It's okay, you're safe now.
Magenta. Magenta! Magenta! Magenta!
The Epson Eco Tank. No more cartridges, just lots of ink. Print whatever makes you happy. The Epson Eco Tank.
Just fill and chill.
Now play.
It's a tragedy, boss.
I need to know who killed my son.
It's very important you take my inquiry seriously. I don't do bear a grudge.
Man, rated R. In theaters now.
You deserve a car that thrills you. A car that puts goosebumps on your goosebumps. This is the new Nissan.
Softball fans, when LSU hired Kim Mulkey, they weren't just checking a box. No, no, no. They were making a significant investment, and they expect a return. And let me tell you what the return's going to be in the first year. Sold out PMAC multiple times, hosting first and second round games in the NCAA tournament, and they are a Sweet 16 team. Check it out. Keep an eye on Mulkey.
Yes, that was Deb Antonelli talking about Kim Mulkey. Yes, she's back, the Tickfaw native, after 21 spectacular years at Baylor, 3 championships. Named and introduced last week as a head coach at LSU. Madison Kepke starting things off. Boy, they're swinging a lot of first pitches. Retired with the fly out into right field. Start off this one. Or pardon me, that was Doyle starting things off in the bottom of the first inning. Big news in Baton Rouge with Kim Mulkey coming back. Her son Kramer Robertson was a very good shortstop on the baseball team, now in the Cardinals organization, playing up in Memphis. Georgia Clark facing Shelby Lowe. This 1-1 game.
Yeah, kill Mulkey. No, I think it's a huge sign that LSU is saying, hey, we're dedicating some time, energy, and money towards women's athletics, and we're making a big push to grow women's sports, not only in the conference but across the country. And LSU needed it. They needed to pick me up from basketball, and she's the answer, right, for them.
Yeah, she really one of the biggest hires that has happened in women's basketball in a very long time. And it would be for softball fans, it would be kind of like if Patty Gasso left Oklahoma or Mike Andrea left Arizona, Murphy at Alabama, these people who have been there for so long and have made and won national championships. And she has 3 of them. Lowe in the circle continues to be impressive, giving up just the RBI single back in the first inning. Lowe threw 21 pitches in that first inning, in which he gave up a couple of hits and a run. Since then, just 24 total in the last 3, really settling in nicely.
Yeah, she's boosted her efficiency without a doubt. And I think what worked well early for LSU, was jumping over some of the pitches early in the count, attacking the strikes that they're thrown, because she does pound a ton of strikes. But lately, Shelby Lowe's getting the best of them.
Boy, that was a beauty right at her knees.
And this is the challenge when you face Shelby Lowe as a right-handed hitter, is this ball you think is going to be off of the plate, and then right at the last second, it just bites and clips the corner, a little backdoor curve that just freezes up Georgia Clark for the second out of the inning.
Boy, that replay showed you perfectly that it crossed both of her knees. Fourth strikeout for Lowe, who is the true freshman from Carrollton, Alabama. One that's hitting now under 200 against her during the season. Here's Gutierrez, who flew out her first time up. Shelby Lowe in the circle now with 171 strikeouts this season against just 24 walks. Leads the SEC in strikeout to walk ratio, as you might expect. Here's a bouncing ball to Cox to retire the side. Shelby Lowe looking good in this 1-1 ball game.
Doug. Hey, Limu. How great is it that we get to tell everybody how Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need? I mean, oh, sorry. Whoops. Meow, good evening. Oh, meow. Nope. Oh, what? I'm an emu. No, buddy. Buddy, it's a filter. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Now playing in theaters. From director Guy Ritchie.
I need to know who killed my son. Let me do this my way.
Jason Statham.
I'm starting to think he's a psychopath.
Wrath of Man. Rated R.
It is the first podcast of Mayhem.
I love the parody in all the conferences. Kenny Gajewski has yet to beat Oklahoma.
You're not going to be very happy that they're showing up in your backyard.
Man, I've never heard Bruins brag about sharing a title.
I think that's what Mayhem's all about, is crowning new champions.
The road to Oklahoma City starts now.
7th-inning podcast. Among the things we're talking about, yes, we're all excited about Mayhem beginning. What else are we going to hear on that, Kayla Bro?
Yeah, we definitely preview the Bedlam series. So Oklahoma State, that's going to be a big one. Oklahoma is their really last true test before the postseason. And you know, the other thing that we get to talk about a lot was Arkansas's big conference victory and winning the regular season championship in the SEC. We also talk about Clemson's opportunity to do that in the ACC. If they sweep Syracuse this weekend, it is all theirs. They will be the new ACC champions. And again, similar to Arkansas, their rise was so fast. Starting off that program and already have the potential to win a championship is a really big deal for Coach Rittman in that program.
Yeah, Coach Rittman coming over. Had so many great years at Stanford, and boy, Clemson. You talk about that's a good parallel as Koepke starts things off here in the top of the 5th inning, 1-1 ball game. Florida and Alabama in the SEC absolutely owning the regular season championships for the last decade or so. And here comes Clemson. It's been Florida State and then everybody else. You know, Georgia Tech won a few years ago, but you know, Coach Lonnie Alameda's done such a tremendous job with that program. Sinceri gets the strikeout, and now Clemson making a lot of noise in the ACC. Going to be fun. Going to be a great NCAA tournament coming up as well.
Yeah, and a big piece of that has been their pitcher. That's also a hitter in Valerie Cagle. She's hitting above 400, has around a 1 ERA. I mean, she's so studly. And similar to Shelby Sinceri, does a lot for her team. And I like that off-speed pitch from Shelby Sinceri that she's starting to sprinkle in and throw a little bit more often. That's kind of been her equalizer against this offense.
There's a couple of strikeouts drifting over nicely from second base. Tidwell gets Perry in foul territory for the second out.
And we're seeing both of these pitchers for these staffs inducing some very easy outs for their defense. I mean, we've seen some routine ground balls. We've seen some routine pop flies. There really hasn't been that many hard hit balls with the exception of the Godwin home run.
Aspen Godwin on an 0-2 pitch, hit it out of the ballpark in the third inning to tie this game up at 1 apiece. That's a very quick inning as Godwin pops out. How about a 5-pitch inning that time for Sinceri? Tied up going to the bottom of the fifth.
This is more than just a game. This is teamwork. This is character building. This is fun. The NFL celebrates every level of the game with leagues for every kind of player. Let's play. Learn more at playfootball.com.
Now play.
It's a tragedy, boss. I need to know who killed my son. It's very important you take my inquiry seriously. And I do bear a grudge.
Rifleman, rated R. In theaters now.
With Allstate, you can really save. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. Save even more for driving safely. See how much you can save with Allstate. Click for a quote today.
It's the NCAA Softball Selection Show.
Gets a shot to go to Oklahoma City.
You got to win or they're going home.
That does it. Back to the Women's College World Series.
Feeling pretty confident right now.
When we reveal the bracket for the NCAA tournament.
I'm king of the mountain.
Oh yeah, Selection Sunday is coming. Let's take a look at the RPI Top 10. LSU with that brutal schedule at number 4. And yeah, you see a lot of SEC schools in there, don't you? Alabama at number 1. Oklahoma right now taking on Oklahoma State, as we mentioned. And the RPI a big factor. But some other factors you think, Kayla, in this very unusual season when the committee gets together to decide who goes where and what the seedings are.
Yeah, I think the eye test is going to be so important, and I'm looking at this RPI, and this is a big weekend for Oklahoma to try and boost theirs, getting some wins over Oklahoma State and vice versa, because I think when you look at the eye test, UCLA, Oklahoma look like the best 2 teams in the country. That being said, where Oklahoma sits behind, the 6 teams in front of them, it may not be the case. So it'll be interesting what the committee does, especially with teams from the Big Ten who didn't play any out-of-conference opponents at all this season. They stayed strictly within their conference. So where do you put them? Because you just don't have any comparisons really beyond their little bubble.
And talking to some of the coaches in the Big Ten, they echo your sentiments exactly, that the committee does take that into consideration. Because of COVID, they decided to limit travel. Sinceri skies it into the glove of Cox. Because of COVID, the Big Ten doing something very unusual. First several games, everybody went down to Florida to play some games because it's a little bit chilly up in Michigan and Illinois and Minnesota and all those places. And then literally no non-conference games, playing the 4-game series on the weekends.
You know, and when I look at that Big Ten conference, I see them, and they are a very strong pitchers conference. I think they have some good teams. You look at Michigan with Alex Sirocco, Megan Bobian. Both have really strong ERAs. Go to Minnesota, you can see Amber Pfizer, Danielle Williams from Northwestern. It's a strong pitchers league. I question how good the hitters are in that league, though.
Again, Selection Sunday coming up a week from Sunday. Morgan Cummins, one of 4 strikeout victims, against Shelby Lowe in the circle. The dynamic freshman leads the SEC in ERA, strikeout to walk ratio, and the fewest walks per 7 innings. Another ball up in the air. 2 in a row for Cox to catch it. Lowe is rolling.
She has been on fire all day. You can see her really late, subtle movement that just causes these LSU players to swing and miss, to be frozen, to have mishits, pop-ups, easy outs for her defense. I mean, it is so sharp, her spin on her pitches. It is just so good to watch. And I love the composure. She's always smiling out there in the circle. She doesn't let anything phase her. She gives up a hit. She gives up a run early in this ball game. No big deal. I'm going to go out and do my thing in the circle.
Yeah, she really does seem calm. Here's Taryn Antoine, who was called out on a bunt back to Lowe. There you see a little smile. She comes in to talk to her catcher, Godwin. Lowe threw 21 pitches in the first inning. Since then, a 10-pitch inning, an 8-pitch inning, an 11-pitch inning, and then 6 pitches in this inning. That's a little dribbler. Antoine has speed. Godwin can't get her. And the senior, who was honored before this game, gets herself an infield hit.
This is a nice job by Taryn Antoine. You know, the whole goal when she slaps this ball, she's trying to get a miss hit. She's trying to pound the ball to the ground, and she does just that and finds her way aboard. And it's so important because Aaliyah Andrews is behind her. And with speed on the bases and what Aaliyah Andrews is able to do at the plate, being able to pop a hard slap into a gap for a triple can score a run and change this ball game really quickly.
Singled, stole a base, and scored on Pleasant's RBI single. The only run so far for LSU. That was back in the first inning. Andrews has been a staple in this lineup. LSU with 5 hits, all of them by their lefties off the lefty pitcher Lowe.
I think that's what's really interesting when you break down what Lowe's able to do in the circle. Righties actually don't do as well as lefties against Shelby Lowe. Lefties have a higher batting average, and you can see with the success that the lefties have had comparatively to the righties today. That's been consistent all season long for her.
So
and I really think
hits. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think the equalizer is the backdoor curve to righties. I think that's one of her best pitches, that she's able to clip the outside corner, be really deceptive, and that pitch doesn't really work as well against lefties because they'll break back over the middle of the plate.
I was going to say all 4 strikeouts have come by right-handed batters, and all the hits from lefties for LSU. Andrews in the offseason started working on her power game a lot with Sandra Simmons, former LSU Tiger, now on the in her 3rd year as the volunteer coach. And Coach Trina gives Sandra a lot of the credit for trying to remake Andrews. That's a terrific throw down by Godwin to get Antoine and end the inning.
Picking up your team, Aspen Godwin throws an absolute dime right on the money to get the 3rd out. Still a tie ball game here in Baton Rouge.
Sometimes you don't find your comfort zone. You create a new one. Regions can help, with advice and tools to help you budget, save, and plan your financial future, so you can brave a new beginning.
My parents are now grandparents, and they're obsessed. They're also deaf. Live caption helps make sure they don't miss a thing.
Planet Fitness's best deal ever.
Super free! Super free!
Get your first month free. No enrollment, then only $10 a month.
Your first month free, yeah!
Get moving in our clean and spacious clubs with your first month free. No enrollment, cancel anytime. This one-time deal ends May 12th.
Now playing in theaters. From director Guy Ritchie.
I need to know who killed my son. Let me do this my way.
Jason Statham.
I'm starting to think he's a psychopath.
Wrath of Man. Rated R.
Tie ball game here, Tigers versus Tigers. It was Taylor Pleasance for LSU that got things started in the first inning, picking up an RBI and Aaliyah Andrews scoring. But in the third inning, Aspen Godwin hits one deep out of the ballpark to tie this thing up. And after that, it's really been a strong pitcher's duel today. Shelby Lowe, the freshman for Auburn, and Shelby Sinceri have been going toe-to-toe. They've elevated their games as this game has continued to go on. And you can see right there, Sinceri giving up 2 hits on the day so far.
And one of them was that solo home run by Godwin, who just ended the last half inning with a terrific throwdown to get Antoine, who was trying to steal second base. Pam Ward and Caleb Rowe joining you on this lovely Friday evening in Baton Rouge. Then the two Shelbys certainly have been delivering in the circle. Sinceri, the senior who graduated today, giving up a double and a home run, and that is it so far. Both of these teams have been offensively challenged during the season. They've relied on defense, and boy, Doyle is just solid as a rock over there at third.
Yeah, I think this is what's impressive about Shelby Sinceri's work today. She's trusting her defense behind her, and she knows that's her bread and butter. A little hot shot over to Doyle, just makes it look easy. Clean throw across the field for the first out, but this is because she's been attacking the strike zone and trusting that late break on her spin. She's a true down ball pitcher that will induce a lot of easy outs if she does her job, and that's clip the corners and keep spinning it up, and she's doing just that.
Another play by Doyle, who was playing in, gets Cox on just one pitch. Bundesliga is coming on ESPN and the ESPN app tomorrow. Dortmund hosting Leipzig. Dortmund's on 4 of their last 5. Everybody knows that. That match starts tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern in the morning. Pre-match coverage begins at 9. Quality soccer coming your way from Germany. When you're talking about the pitchers, as Shelby Sinceri, 5 one-pitch outs in the last 3 innings. So they're swinging early, putting the ball in play, but as you mentioned, the Tiger defense coming up and getting people out.
Yeah, this might be a situation where both of these teams need to kind of go back to the drawing board and say, are we being a little too aggressive? Should we be more patient at the plate? Should we be a little bit more selective? Because there's a balance. I like it when hitters go out there and they see a pitch they want and they attack it. However, that has to stop being the case if you're not producing, if you're not coming up with hits. And the way that these pitchers just mowing over batters pretty quickly and efficiently, they got to find ways to slow the game down as an offense and try and make the pitchers work a little bit harder. And that's going to be a tough challenge because both of these pitchers, what makes them so good and makes them so good today is it's the deception piece. The pitches out of the hand look great, but it's the late break, the sharp movement, the change in speeds that's getting these batters.
That one lifted into left field, but Briggs was positioned perfectly. Another quick 1-2-3 inning for Sinceri as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
The financial report is due Monday, so we need to speed up the process and get those numbers in.
Renovate or relocate?
Relocate.
The perfect home needs the perfect mortgage.
It's perfect.
Regions' digital lending experience is safe and simple, so you can brave a new beginning.
My parents are now grandparents, and they're obsessed. They're also deaf. Live caption helps make sure they don't miss a thing.
Trying to nourish your skin? Leave it to Tula. Their clean and effective skincare is formulated with probiotics and superfoods, like watermelon and chia seeds. So feed your skin the good stuff. Try Tula today at Tula.com.
This is for all the footballers, all the QBs, sidesteppers, and end zone dancers. The NFL celebrates every level of the game with leagues for every kind of player. Let's play. Learn more at playfootball.com.
Welcome back. LSU and Auburn tied up at 1 apiece as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. And one of the main themes for LSU this year has been their strength of schedule. Coach Torina says it's the story of our season. And Graham Hayes, our former terrific colleague at ESPN, tweeted this. Somebody mentioned this, and the data looks right. Not only is LSU number 1 in strength of schedule, all but certain to enter the tournament with one of the best strengths of schedules ever. Nothing close that he could find going back to 2007. And we spoke to Coach Torina earlier this week, and that was just one of the emphases on her season. You see by far the number 1 strength of schedule, 4 in the RPI, and they are trying to close out the season, improve their seed, and certainly hope to host in the regional.
It is really interesting because LSU didn't plan for this tough of a schedule, but because of COVID protocols and weather delays or whatever it may be, they had to rearrange a lot of their schedule earlier in the year, and it didn't really go well with playing an easier schedule. It made them play the tougher teams more times or add teams like Alabama to play in the preseason. And, you know, one of the things that's so challenging is this is a pretty young LSU team, and when you play that tough of a strength of schedule, week in and week out, it's so hard to find any kind of continuity, any kind of consistency in your lineup. Confidence goes down. It's just so tough. So how do you keep the morale up? How do you keep your players keeping the confidence they need to be successful? And that was something that stood out to me from Beth Torina, too, where she said when they started playing Texas, which was a few weeks in, she said, we need to throw out that nobody's going to hit above 400 on this team. Nobody's going to have a sub-1 ERA. Our schedule's just too tough. So once you realize that, move on. Don't dwell on the fact that maybe your numbers don't look as pretty as they would on another season. Find ways to win now.
Leah Andrews starts things off in the 6th. She was in the batter's box when Antoine was thrown out trying to steal second in the 5th inning. And she was talking about that, how, you know, she said she really didn't realize how young her team was. Had players for the half season or so last year, but then she figured out, you know, they never even played in an SEC game yet. They just had non-conference games last year. And she said it really was a tough mental challenge. She said we're running 5 or 6 kids out there every day who have never played not only this level of competition, but this level of competition day after day after day, where there's really no break.
And the SEC is really where you're molded as a softball player. It's where you face the toughest of the tough, again, like you said, week in and week out. And that's where you learn about yourself. You learn how to fight adversity. It's not just smooth sailing every weekend. It's a grind. And some players rise to the occasion, and that's how you find out who the best players in the country are, is how they do in conference play.
Full count now to Andrews, one of the few deep counts that Lowe has gotten to since the first inning when she threw 21 pitches and gave up the only run of the game. RBI single by Pleasance that scored Andrews after she stole a base. Good pitcher's duel. This is a good old-fashioned 1-1 ball game in the 6th inning. We don't see this very often anymore, Kayla Bro.
That's right. And if I'm LSU, I'm circling this part of the lineup. All the lefties up in a row. This is where you have to make an impact.
Instead, Andrews pops out to Koepke at third to start off the 6th inning. Leah 1 for 3 so far today. And the Shelbys in the circle have given up a grand total of 0 walks.
And that's a fantastic stat. And that right there against Aaliyah Andrews is how you get her out. You pop her up. She gets herself out. That's an easy way to deal with somebody like her. The only time that she's put the ball on the ground today, she's gotten a base hit.
Yep. Briggs pops out on the first pitch.
And that's the second time we've seen Sierra Briggs try and put a bunt down and pop up. And once again, those are just 2 easy outs. And a nice job by Shelby Lowe to understand what the job to do is, and it's to let the lefties get themselves out.
So how much credit do you give to them getting themselves out versus what the pitch? We can't talk about anything because people are going to swing at first pitches, and Pleasance this time flies out to left like they have somewhere to go. Another quick 1-2-3 inning. Let's go to the 7th.
Now play.
It's a tragedy, boss. I need to know who killed my son. It's very important you take my inquiry seriously. I do bear a grudge.
Rifleman, rated R. In theaters now.
This is more than just a game. This is teamwork. This is character building. This is fun. The NFL celebrates every level of the game with leagues for every kind of player. Let's play. Learn more at playfootball.com.
If you're tired and you know it, skip the gym.
If you're anxious and you know it, take a break.
If your heart rate variability is 50 and your body temperature's normal.
If your breathing rate is optimal and you know it, bring it on.
Aura. Know why you feel how you feel.
Welcome back. This is the SEC on ESPN. A 1-1 ball game in Baton Rouge, already going to the top of the 7th inning. And an hour and a half into this game, the two Shelby Lowe for Auburn, Shelby Sunseri for LSU, pitching so well. Neither one have given up a walk, just 6 strikeouts between them. Sunseri's last 11 pitches for LSU have produced 7 outs. So Auburn going after a lot of first pitches, not having much success, but the same is true with Lowe in the circle for Auburn.
Yeah, and there's been 1 error in this ball game, and it came in the first inning. So since the first inning, really, this game has been so efficient. It's flown by, and getting credit to the performances in the circle from both the Shelbys today.
And what's this? We have ourselves a base hit into the outfield. Great hustle by Dowell. It was bobbled a little bit by Andrews, and McKenna took the extra base.
Seen it all day long, jumping over the first pitch. McKenna Dowell does a really nice job. This is a really good pitch to hit, a nice strike. And as soon as she sees any kind of mini little bobble out there by Aaliyah Andrews, picks up second base really quickly to put herself in scoring position.
Third double of the year for Dowell, second double of the game for Auburn. They just have 3 hits, a couple of doubles, and that home run that you mentioned, Godwin hitting it in the third. Now a pinch runner comes in. And it is Kaylee Horton who comes in. Senior from Jasper, Alabama, who started her career at Ole Miss.
And what a big opportunity for Auburn. This is the first time that we've seen the leadoff hitter get to second base with no outs.
And Garcia, boy, she's robbed over there at the net by Clark.
You know, and this is an interesting strategy. Bunt her over, get her in a position to be able to get a sac fly. But this is a really nice play. Going up against the net, finding the ball, knowing where she is, knowing it's her park, and making a really great play. And that's a big out in this inning right here.
And it keeps the pinch runner Horton over at first. And now they've got the pinch runner and able to tag her out. Packer able to go over to second on the play, but Horton, who just came in to run for Dowell, caught in a rundown.
This is a really nice job. A hard look back by Amanda Doyle, and Horton just sits there. And as soon as Doyle recognizes that Horton doesn't make any move to go back to second base, it's an easy pickoff play over two. And a close play, almost got her at second base. Packer doing the smart base running and getting herself into scoring position, though. But again, this is where Auburn made some mistakes. I think with the opportunity to sacrifice bunt somebody over, do it. Take the chance, especially since Sinceri is a down ball pitcher, so most likely you're going to be able to get the ball on the ground, advance a runner to third. And it makes it a lot easier to score from 60 feet than it does from second base.
Now two away with the runner on second for Koepke. And then taking off and safe. Packer heads down to third.
Packer showing off her speed right here. No hesitation. Tries to catch Cummins sleeping a little bit behind the plate. Beautiful head first slide into third to move herself closer to scoring.
And just as you mentioned, get yourself 60 feet closer, and she has indeed done that. Serena comes out into the circle.
Jump is so important at second base. You can see Michaela Packer times this up. And that is about as close as you can get. And I like at second base the runner being aggressive, because that's a hard call for the umpire to make, to be able to see when the pitcher releases the ball and when your foot leaves the base. I was always taught growing up to leave a little bit early at second base, because again, just the angle of the umpire, the release of the pitcher, it's too hard to see in one smooth shot, and that doesn't get called very often. So I love that she has a beautiful lead, a great jump at second base.
Yeah, because remember, unlike baseball, you cannot leave until the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, or if you're like Caleb Rowe, you want to cheat a little bit and take off just a tick early. Whatever you can get, right? Competitive
That's right.
advantage.
Any inch. Yeah, that's right.
Packer took advantage of that. Just to clean things up, as Koepke's at the plate, Dowell's hit was ruled a single, and then the error on Andrews advanced her to second, so not a double, but a single, and then the E8. Second error committed by LSU. And that ends it. 6-pitch inning. They get a hit, and still it's only a 6-pitch inning. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th, tied up.
I'm king of the mountain.
We are going to Disney World.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day.
Let your tomorrow begin today. Start planning at DisneyWorld.com.
When it's hot outside, your car is like a sauna, steaming up lingering odors. Febreze car vent clips stop hot car stench with up to 30 days of freshness. Get relief with Febreze.
A made-to-order, creamy Mediterranean chicken wrap from a drive-thru. The perfect combo of freshly prepared food and ordering Arby's Market Fresh through a tiny little speaker box. Arby's, we have the meats.
Those men that came for your father, is that them? We can't stay here.
You really want to die for this kid?
Those Who Wish Me Dead. Rated R. In theaters and on HBO Max.
Welcome. Yes, already we are going to the bottom of the 7th inning. LSU and Auburn tied up at 1 apiece. The last 5 half innings, both pitchers have thrown just 31 pitches total. A lot of first pitch swings, contact, and outs going on here. An RBI single in the first inning for LSU by Taylor Pleasance. Then the game-tying Aspen Godwin homer in the 3rd. That is all we have so far. Shelby Lowe, Shelby Sunseri, there's Shelby Lowe getting it done. Pam Ward along with Caleb Rowe on this lovely Friday evening in Baton Rouge. Amanda Doyle's been busy out in the out at third base today. 5 putouts for her. First of a 3-game series. Already had some exciting finishes on this Friday night in the SEC. Florida fell behind early in this game to Texas A&M, but just walked them off in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Charlotte Eccles, you know, late in the game, it's so tough. It's such a tough decision, but, you know, you look at it and how do you get to a situation where you pitch to her with the potential to walk it off? It's crazy, but that's the way our league's been this year. People are just beating up on each other. You have to go to walk-offs to win because it's just so competitive.
And remember, if Florida does sweep A&M, they will get the #1 seed in the upcoming SEC tournament. Arkansas, their regular season already done after taking 2 of 3 in Baton Rouge last weekend to get at least a share of the SEC championship. First time they have done that. Those having a conversation with Patrick Murphy earlier this year when they were going to play Arkansas, who has, you know, Burnside. And we said, why do people pitch to her? And he said he doesn't think, Patrick Murphy says he doesn't think intentional passes are used enough in softball. Hit on the nose. Packer couldn't come up with it, and Doyle gets into second to start the 7th.
Yeah, when you need to use an intentional walk, it can be really beneficial, but going on to this swing, I mean, hit a Doyle up in the zone. It's outside. She gets her barrel there, pulls it, hooks around it a little bit, but the key is that her barrel is so level, and Michaela Packer, what an effort in center field. We've seen her make some dynamic plays out there, showing off the range, but barely not able to hang on to this one, and a huge pickup for the Tigers.
First time that LSU has gotten a leadoff runner on since Aaliyah Andrews singled to start the game. Stole a base and eventually scored. So Doyle doing her job. And now the pinch runner for Doyle. Yep.
No, yeah, it's her senior day. Honoring her.
It is Akia Times who comes in. Representing the winning run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's Georgia Clark. Pardon me, Akia Times is over there at third base. LSU 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position, so not a lot of opportunities. And again, the first time they've had a runner on second base since the first inning when they got their only run. Trying to get the bunt down. Times over to third easily. Clark gets the job done.
And I love this move. It's a great call from Coach Torina to be able to sacrifice the run and move the runner over because it gives an opportunity for the next couple batters in your lineup to hit a sac fly.
At times he's one of those super seniors who came back to be a pinch runner. We've talked to head coaches who talk about that sacrifice, that come back, you're not going to get a lot of playing time, but Kaya taking the opportunity to come back, and she is the winning run now with just one away. Shelby Lowe has just been brilliant, giving up just one run on 6 hits.
Raylene Gutierrez took a hack at that one. A little check swing up in the zone, but she wanted it, looked good, and then she's like, oh man, nope, it's not there. Gotta hold myself up a little bit. But that was a swing to try and win this ball game.
Yeah, it certainly did, like a little bit of an anxious swing, trying to be the hero. That one's up in the air, should be deep enough, caught in center by Packer, the tag, and the winning run. Times comes in on the Gutierrez sac fly RBI.
And that right there is exactly why you sacrifice that runner over and you bunt in that situation with a runner in scoring position. Your offense hasn't had enough run production, so that is smart, intelligent play right there from LSU, and the reason they're going to walk away with a victory in game 1 of this series. Just smart. And Raylene Gutierrez already had a deep fly ball early in this game, so you knew she could do it off of Shelby Lowe. She just had to do it one more time.
Tough loss for Lowe, who falls to 13-8 on the season. Shelby Senseri, on the day she graduated from college, picks up win number 8 with the complete game, just giving up the that home run to Godwin. But LSU, we had a great shot of the Times family. They are from Louisiana, Brusly, Louisiana, and they got to see their daughter come in and score the game-winning run. So a good start for LSU as they try to improve their position in the SEC with just 2 games left now in the regular season.
This is a really nice job. This is just simple hitting. You hit a ball that's elevated. You know that you can hit it deep enough in this park. All you got to think about is I got to get it to the grass. And she does just that. Makes for an easy tag up and scoring opportunity. And this is a big deal for LSU. This is a much needed win, a victory where they needed to come down to the wire and understand what it takes to win ball games against a really quality opponent and a quality pitcher. Shelby Lowe, you got to tip your cap to what she was able to do today. Shelby Senseri, they were tough for 7 innings. Defense was tough behind them, but it came down to that one timely hit, and LSU came up with it.
Yeah, Doyle coming up with a big double to lead off this inning. The sac bunt you referenced by Clark, and then Gutierrez with the sac fly RBI scored the pinch runner Times. And speaking of time, this game took an hour and 40 minutes. Lightning quick. As Beth Torina all smiles, losing the 2 out of the 3 games last weekend, and a great way to start off this weekend series for LSU.
Yeah, Beth Torina, that was one thing, is that she gave Arkansas credit because when it came down to the wire, they just came up with the big hits that they needed to come up with, and it was frustrating to see somebody celebrate on your field and win a championship on your field, but to be able to come back in a close game like this, find a way to win, rely on those seniors who's it's senior weekend. Of course, Amanda Doyle would come up with the big hit in the 7th inning to come through for her team. And this is exactly the kind of momentum that they need to roll into the SEC tournament, is understanding what it takes to execute and win with the staff that they have and with the offense that they do have.
All right, and we are joined now by Beth Torina, the head coach for LSU. Boy, that was a quickie, Coach, just an hour and 40 minutes to get through this first. Can you talk about what you saw from Shelby Senseri there in the circle?
Yeah, we didn't want you guys to have to work too hard tonight, so we're trying to get you out early. So Shelby Senseri was great. I mean, the one mistake, I think that she made, but I thought she was really good. She does what she does for us every time she goes out,